Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. This is an update that I put out on the case of Alberta Obinim, who has lost her life after a knife attack on her by her son, who is 22 years old, and her husband, 64-year-old Joshua Obinim, who was also attacked by the same son with the knife and left in a very critical condition whilst on admission in a hospital, as well as their 17-year-old daughter, now identified as allegedly being called Bernice. She is also in a critical condition. Now, the last update I brought on this case had it that Mr. Joshua Obinim, who is also a pastor, who was previously battling for his life in a critical condition after his son inflicted those injuries on him, had allegedly passed on. But another update coming in says otherwise, where it is now being indicated that the first news that came out was not something that was accurate and that he never lost his life. He is actually still alive. Now, first of all, that is great news. I'm happy that he's alive. We can't lose both parents. They still have kids that need parents to take care of. So, under these circumstances, it's really a blessing that Mr. Joshua Obinim is still alive. And I think that it's something everybody should be happy for. And rightly so, because this situation, as gruesome as it is, has left a dark cloud on this family. And a ray of sunshine like Mr. Joshua Obinim being alive is something that at least begins to generate some hope that all is not lost. So as it stands now, reports coming in seeks to confirm that Mr. Joshua Obinim has not passed out or has not lost his life. He's actually still on admission in a critical condition in the hospital, and that initial reports that indicated that he had lost his life were actually inaccurate. So that is the update on this case. Now, subsequently, a close family member was also interviewed with regards to what she thinks about this case. Now, she is actually staying in the UK with this family, and according to her, she has known this family for so long. She knew these kids when they were very little, to the point that the suspect, who is now in custody, the 22-year-old son of Mr. Joshua Obinim and the late Alberta Obinim, by name Benjamin, is known to this woman. According to her, she knew him since infancy, and that this guy actually refers to her as auntie. And that, to the best of her knowledge, as far as she got to know this boy up until some few years ago, where they lost touch a bit because the family relocated to another part of the UK, she was sure that Benjamin was a very calm young man. He was never in any trouble. He was a very respectful boy, and he was actually brought up in a way that seeks to suggest that his parents have done a good job raising their children. Because bear in mind, Mr. Joshua Obinim is a pastor, and the late Mrs. Alberta Obinim is also a pastor's wife. Now, if you're a Christian or if you're familiar with the Christian Brotherhood, a pastor's home is actually deemed as one of the best places to get the best forms of child upbringing, where children brought up in the home of a pastor are expected to be upright on principles, upright on values, upright on morals, and upright on what is right and wrong, especially with regards to integrity, respect for adults, respect for rule of law, respect for human life. And all these things goes against what this 22-year-old boy is alleged to have committed. So according to this close family friend, she seems very surprised that this has happened, and more so happened and has been perpetrated allegedly by the 22-year-old boy, son to Pastor Joshua Obinim and the late Mrs. Alberta Obinim, whom she knows very well as being very upright people and have done their best to mold their children in the right way. So she seemed very surprised. And according to her, when she heard the news, she just couldn't believe it. Because the couple, Joshua Obinim and Alberta Obinim, have made sure that they've given everything about themselves to their family to be there to raise their children very well in the ways of God. And that she lost touch a few years ago with them, and she doesn't know whether maybe it was within that time that this Benjamin boy would eventually evolve to become something else that would facilitate what he's alleged to have perpetrated on his mom, his dad, and his sister at this point. And that is the thing. There are a lot of people on social media have seen footages of people and posts of people trying to find a way to chastise the parents and blame them for the actions of their son. Some are trying to insinuate that they didn't bring up the child well and the child got spoiled, especially because he's in the UK and whatever. Now, I don't know for certain what was going on in their home, but there's one fact I can put out there confidently. That is the fact that usually when a child grows up right and seems to be walking on the right path as far as principles of right and wrong and integrity are concerned, everybody begins to praise his or her parents that they've done a good job raising the child. Yeah, some would argue rightly so, and I won't debate that. But then when a child grows up and goes wayward and starts getting into some vices and some bad things, then most people begin to chastise his or her parents as having done a bad job. But is that always the case? Because there is also another angle, some would argue, where some parents have done their best to raise their children the best ways, but these children in themselves have found a way to repel all the good upbringing they are being given, or sometimes they even have the good upbringing, but maybe they go to school, boarding school or something, or relocate to go and start life, and they pick up some vices, and all of a sudden they are a whole different person from what their parents brought them up to be and know them to be, prior to they parting ways with them. So all I'm saying is, if you've never had a child grow up through teenage years, please don't be quick to pass judgment on parents when such things happen, as has happened to Mr. Joshua Obinim and Alberta Obinim, because it's not that black and white. There are several intricacies and nuances when it comes to family life and parenting, most of the people who are condemning these parents have no idea of and have even not had to wrestle with. Yeah, that is my 2 cents to those people. This has happened. It has not even yet been established what the true root cause of the issue is. Yes, granted there are some rumors of whatever, but I'm still waiting on the police to come out with the specifics as to what the root cause of the whole incident was, and whether this Benjamin guy was having any mental issues, as some people are insinuating, or maybe it was something else. There's already a rumor being peddled that it was over a bag of weed. I don't know if that's also the truth, but I'm following the case and I'll bring you updates as and when they are due. Just that one good news that has come up is that Mr. Joshua Obinim is not dead, he's still alive. And I think that is a good ray of light in this dark storm of this case. And I hope he makes it out alive. I pray that his 17-year-old daughter, who has now been allegedly identified as being called Bernice, also makes it out alive. And my checks also revealed that Benjamin was born in Ghana and his parents immigrated him to the UK, but his other siblings were born in the UK. So that is it. I'm still waiting. I'm following the case. If there's an update, I'll surely bring it up. And please, let's take a cue from this. I said it earlier and I'm saying it again. In my previous videos, I'm saying it again. Let's learn the art of de-escalating issues. You don't have to allow certain things to go beyond what they are already seeming to be. Sometimes if you see people are so angry, just try to be the one calming them down and de-escalating the issue. Don't be the straw that breaks a camel's back. It might not end well for both yourself and the person who is trying to be agitated. Until then, subscribe to the channel if you are yet to do so. Like the video, leave your comments about this whole issue in the comment section. At least type an RIP Alberta Obinim and commiserate with the family in any best message you know how. Share the video so others may also get educated from it. And then watch our other videos and leave your comments and let's have a dialogue on this page. Security is everybody's problem. Catch you on the next one.